welcome along. For the first time this season, you're watching Premier League tonight. What are you laughing at already?
I was just yawning, sorry.
You weren't? Honestly?
Yeah. It's a late night for me, this.
You've come on air yawning.
He's got a young kid.
I've got younger kids.
No,
he's not. His kids are teenagers.
An 18-month-old.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Loads of makeup for that reason.
All right, I still won't let you off. If you want to join in the conversation tonight, hashtag PL Tonight is the conversation that we want to be having with you. We've got loads of messages. Loads have come in already. We'll be sharing those, but please join in the debate, join in the conversation. Hashtag PL Tonight. We're live until 11:15. If anything happens transfer deadline day-wise, we'll bring that to you. But we've got so much more to talk about. But let's sort of start there. When I say transfer deadline day, is there a moment that springs to mind, either another player or for you personally, a club you were at, anything happening?
I think I've done Wingy for all the wrong reasons, probably.
That.
When he turned up, he's at a door somewhere. And that was just a bizarre situation. And you're just thinking, wow, how's that happened? He's obviously, he's the people that look after him haven't managed the situation well. And I felt sorry for him, really. But it was a real bizarre situation. That's probably the one that jumps out at me, if I'm honest.
Because when you guys all started, it wasn't as a big deal. Do you know what I mean? Transfer deadline day grew into this kind of monster, mainly because of the work of the media.
Well, there weren't a transfer window when we were going. No. There wasn't a window. It was open all year round.
But I think agents do an amazing job at the end of a window to create a bit of chaos and find a little bit of an opportunity, a bit of leverage. You know, there's always teams struggling. You see 4 or 5 games in. You know, if Leicester had a bit more time, you'd probably like to think, if they could, they'd probably spend a lot of money. United spent a lot of money after what happened against Brighton and Brentford. So I think agents have done an amazing job of capitalising on the transfer window. And the last day is just chaos. Normally the bigger teams don't deal with it. It's the smaller teams that kind of panic and go and buy players in. Also,
we've had a large amount of fixtures this week. There'll be injuries. Teams thinking, oh, we're not where we want to be, so they panic. And that's when the phone starts going crazy because they're thinking, well...
Did you guys ever use your agents when you were thinking about transfer dealings and all that sort of stuff?
No, I think the good agents stay out of the way.
Did you, Rob?
No, I think what you can do is, you can leak stories to the press. Let's be honest.
Hold on a minute.
Yeah, you can leak stories. You say,
like
say
what
to your,
sort of thing?
Well, you can say to your agent, if you know somebody in the press, you can say, an agency, just say to that newspaper that they are in for you, but they're not.
Yeah.
Let's be fair, we all know it goes on.
When did you do that?
Several times.
Did you?
Of course.
For what reason?
Because there's no one in for him, actually.
Why are you laughing? Why are you changing?
Seriously, why?
Well, because, whether you want a new contract, whether you want stuff. Listen, we all know it goes... Listen, I'm sure it does happen. So, people will say, listen, just link, me or link players with those clubs.
There's a lot of players in the media during this window that use, so-and-so's linked with that club.
Yeah.
And half the nation are going, how? It's an agent going, bang, put it in there to create some sort of story. So another club panics and goes, we can't afford to let him go there. And but that's happened not just now, but it's happened since before we played. So
look, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, right? But I think it's really interesting. You had your career was at a slightly different level to these guys, right? They're playing top clubs.
Say it again loud.
No, you see what I mean? And, international football, you were in
Don't
control.
you count Wales as international
Yes,
football?
I do. But the point I'm trying to make is, do you think it was a little bit different for you? Because you were at a slightly different level.
Wow, he's absolutely finished you.
What I mean is, you were at a place...
Is it hot in here?
No. You were at a place where you were kind of in a position where you're like, right, I think I want to get a move, and, you weren't Rio Ferdinand. No.
What?
But it was
What are you trying to say, Jake? Please, just get it out.
Yeah, just get out, yeah.
This is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say, were you in a position
I know what he's saying.
I know what he's
where
saying.
you had to play the game a bit more than these guys did?
You did, didn't you?
Yeah, but, don't forget, I went for 8-9 million quid in my career.
Absolutely.
Can I answer this for you?
Yeah.
Sav was a good player, by the way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He was a Premier League footballer. But
what I'm saying is, if he came up for Sal, or there's an opportunity to get Robbie Savage in his pomp, maybe Man United wasn't there, but trust me, there'd have been a lot of other clubs in and around the teams that he was playing for that would have been knocking at the door.
No, but
he wasn't the captain in the Premier League.
But we know that, right?
Reason.
But the thing is, United at the top level, they don't sell, do they? Bayern was never going to sell a player. So what I think Jake means is I'll try and save this because it's been a car crash.
But he just admitted he played games that you've never played.
If his team is, say, mid-table and a team near the Europa League or Champions League, they can come in for you, then Sal's going to look at that, right? The thing is, for United, it's different. They don't really look into
the clubs who would have gone after you two would have been different than the clubs who went after me.
Yeah.
So we got there in the end, didn't we?
Yeah,
but you felt the need to play a game that these two didn't play. Like, they didn't...
No, the top players still have to play that game.
Yeah, of course.
But if the top players sometimes sitting there and going, well, I've got 2.5 years on my contract and the club haven't come to me for a new deal yet, can we get it going, please? So and the agent will go into the media.
So why did you guys never do that?
Because we're top players.
Yeah.
Top players.
No,
I'm joking.
That's what happened.
It's a mess, isn't it?
Remember Real putting out about, like, QPR and teams like that towards the end, No,
some people could say, look, when I was photographed in a restaurant with Peter Kenyon, that could have been manufactured. Some people assume that's manufactured, right? It wasn't. It was a genuine, I walked in, my agent was there, didn't know Peter Kenyon was there, okay? And it just was at the beginning when cameras wasn't so, obvious. Someone took a picture and it went into the media. That looked like I was manufacturing to get a new deal. I was already in negotiations to get a new deal. So it wasn't a problem for me. But that's the type of thing that people.
But you didn't mind that getting out there, would you?
Oh, I did when I walked in because Sir Alex Ferguson gave me the hairdryer treatment straight away.
What did he say?
Yeah, he went bananas. He's like, he had the paper in his hand. I went in his office and I went in there, he had the paper in his hand, and he looked up because I was told summons to come in his room, and he just unloaded, went bananas, paper everywhere. What are you doing? And I said, look, it was a genuine accident. I didn't realise.
Did he believe you?
Probably. I signed a contract within a couple of days after that, I think. But it was. I got not a little while after. But I got a lot of stick. The away fans, United fans, who are great travelling loyal supporters, give me a lot of stick, and people thought I was trying to jostle for more money or whatever it was. But it was. I knew my worth at the time. At the time, like you say, being serious now, I didn't feel I needed to do that. So it was something that I didn't need to go to that level. But there are some players that maybe would need to.
I had 2 Premier League managers on the phone to me, when you cannot, the rule was you can't speak to managers. So I had 2 Premier League managers on the phone to me at one time asking to join that football club when I was at a Premier League club.
Wow. And they hadn't gone to the club first?
No.
And how did you deal with that situation? Did you hear them out? And
yeah, I eventually went to one of the clubs.
So here's the question then. What were they hoping to achieve by ringing you rather than doing it formally?
Well, they've got to know he's interested first.
Interested, and if there was a situation at a club where I was at Birmingham and I was doing well, and that obviously there was speculation about me going to clubs, and there is a situation where when you get that phone call, you are then generally unsettled, and then your mind starts saying, "I want to go there. I'm going to cause havoc." Which we've talked about before, loads of times. And before the game, and Rio was talking about, players who were unsettled and the Fofana situation. I was in that situation at Birmingham, and I was.
Is the money a factor as well? Because you're obviously you're not going to leave for the same money or less money. You're normally going to leave for more money.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't really because the money wasn't that much more when I left Blackburn. When I left Birmingham, it was the fact that I just wanted a new challenge. I really did, and to play for my idol in my accused. But at that point, I could have gone to Everton. Everton put 2 bids in of £3 million. But at the time, I just wanted to play for my accused. But it is unsettling. I'm in my mindset then when I'm hearing people talk. I was doing everything I could to leave.
Now you see it from a totally different perspective.
Correct.
If you're involved in Macclesfield, you must now look at players and think, can you stop causing havoc? I'm trying to run a football club. You were the problem.
Yeah, I'm on the other side now. But
did the boys ever say to you, hey, I know what you did?
So
you've done it.
What I try and do now on the other side is I think about my experiences. And for instance, because non-league football is massive, we do it on BT Sport, non-league football, and there's different rules, non-contract contracts, 7-day rules. And in our level, so if I wanted to sign Real, for instance, in non-league, I'd have to put 7 days into the club. Yeah, and then you cannot speak to that player for the 8th day. Right. But what happens is managers will get that player's number, ring him on the next day, and it's not allowed. But it happens. It happens all the time, from Premier League level to Tier 10. It happens.
See, I've always, obviously, from the outside, compared to you three, looked at the madness of the final day of the transfer window, and I've just thought, why is it so hard to get your deals done earlier? Why does everyone leave it to the last minute? And I spoke to the chairman of a current Premier League club and said that to him, and he said, you need to understand, it is the Wild West out there. It's so hard for us to do business in a controlled manner that we would want to do. We are at the behest of the players, at the behest of the agents. The deal happens when they want to do that deal.
But also, I think some clubs, they need the money, but they might be saying, no, we want, say, for instance, £10 million, and that's a little bit above what the player's value is. And I want, at the beginning of the window, I want 10 million. And then the player knows that this particular club want me and not going to get that deal done at £10 million. But by the end of the window, they know that club are selling, quite desperate for that money and will take 8. So they wait to the last minute.
Well, look
sometimes.
at the Anthony situation now.
Yeah,
you know how much
they
that
went the
price
other way.
has gone up.
They
But
drove
even
the price.
Casemiro, you think Real Madrid would have, if you think back to the Champions League final against Liverpool, there's no way any of us could have envisioned Casemiro leaving Real Madrid. But all of a sudden 70 million comes in for a 30-year-old and Real Madrid go, wait, we got Tuchemani, we got Camavinga. Yeah, OK, we can do that. So money is...
How good are those two, by the way?
Jeez, well, no wonder you can sell a Casemiro because you got the 2 ready-made replacements.
And you know, as a football fan, I don't like hearing like managers ringing players and sort of doing it in that way. But I understand it goes on. What feels much more natural and real is you guys talking to other professional footballers. Like, did that happen in your career?
But that happens with England. So we used to go away with England,
me,
and all the boys would be saying, "Oh, you should come play for us. You should come play for us." Every time I had a trip with England, you know, I was the only player at Bayern Munich at a foreign club, and they would say, "Why are you playing the Bundesliga?"
And would the manager ever ask you to talk to specific players and just try and sell German football? But did they?
Yeah, you have the manager that would say, "Look, what does he think? What does he think about maybe if I was to be interested in him? Do you think he'd come?"
I think the only reason Man United signed me was because of the boys.
Yeah.
Rio, Gary Nev, Scholesy. Obviously, you trained together for a long time, and they go.
Yeah, before
"How's that
Owen
one?"
came, the manager said to me, "What do you think of Owen Hargreaves? Like, what's he like with England?" I said, and I obviously would give him a huge kind of endorsement. Never got any financial rewards for it, but we talk about it another time. But it was,
Can you imagine?
But you sit there, and
10%.
I was playing with him with England and thinking, wow, he's a great player. So he'd be great at Man United. And then obviously the manager goes and does the deal. But the manager, I don't think the manager would have been too swayed by our opinions. But
I think it plays a huge part. You know, if you can say you spend some time with somebody for 4 or 6 weeks and go, how do they train? What are they like around the group? You know, how do they deal with coaches? I think it's huge. I can imagine now, look at Brendan Rodgers. You know, you've got a little Belgium contingent here, you know? You can imagine a lot of those players are being recommended by some of the core that they have here already.
Would you also warn managers off from players?
Yeah.
If you're brutally honest about a player, listen, he don't train hard. Yeah. He's on and off. He switches it on and off, boss, to be honest with you. And then the manager makes his mind up on that, probably.
John, like we talked about Macclesfield, I'm not going to bore you.
You mentioned Macclesfield about 20 times.
I'm not going to bore you, but I've seen a different side because it's not just about the Premier League, right? You know, I know we talk about on this show a lot because we had a Premier League, but at our levels, the managers don't have to tell players. So, for instance, since I've been director of football, if we like a player, we might try and find if that player's on a contract. If he's on a contract, then some people say he's got a buyout clause. And then what happens is you find out from their friends there's no buyout clause. So you then are reluctant to making an offer. Right. So it's unbelievable what happens. And some kids with the opportunity to earn more money at those levels, you could be on 100 quid a game. Somebody might offer them 300. But that negotiation might never get to the player because the manager is selfish and will never tell that player. It's you know, it's unbelievable what goes on. But it's opened my eyes to agents at our level, you know, tier 8 agents, you know. But I believe at those levels, you know, if you're going to use an agent, I'd rather give, you know, a bit extra to the player instead of using an agent at that level. But it's fascinating. Agents are vitally important at all levels. But I just think there comes a certain level. It is fascinating.
Good agents are vitally important. Yeah. I mean, we've spoken to managers who've said that they've had brilliant players that have never come to their club because the agent didn't get enough money. I mean, that sort of stuff still goes on. Awful.
But you know what? Yeah. You know what I think is a problem, especially now. Like you see a player become available, and all of a sudden, like 5 or 6 agents are trying to fight for the deal, aren't they, Rio? You know, basically they know somebody's available, and everybody's trying to get in on the deal and get a slice of the pie, and that I think's wrong. You know, because they smell money, and they think, and they all kind of flood to it, which I'm not a fan of.
I think the players and the families and the people that are close to the players have to really realise and understand who are there to do first a good service and who are there to have a genuine care and attention to detail for the player over a long term, and not just there for the short term one hit deal.
So hard though, isn't it? Like you're 18 years old and you've suddenly got the world at your feet, for example, and you've got all these people saying, we'll look after you, we'll sort you out. And like, you know, we're in this cost of living crisis at the moment. And on a transfer deadline day, there are thousands of people hovering around footballers just trying to make money.
Yeah, but Jake, one thing I would say to a young kid, and we always said to the young boys coming through at United, when you break through, don't chase money. Don't chase money at that age. If you chase money at that age, it shows to the players and to the coaches what you're in it for. You know, get playing. The money will come if you perform. It does, doesn't it, Ray?
Yeah.
But don't chase money at that age. It's a terrible thing.
It's hard though when sometimes the parents, often the agent and the others are all chasing the money.
Yeah, I agree. It is. It's a different. It is a hard situation, especially some of the backgrounds some of the players are coming from as well. And there's an opportunity to have a big pot of gold immediately, and they're not willing to wait because waiting may be better long term for the young player. But it's the world we live in right now.
It's fascinating. We could talk for hours about that, but we will talk more about transfer deadline day, and we will be talking about Manchester United and the business they've done straight after the break. See you in a moment. Don't forget, get your questions and your thoughts in #PL Tonight. See you in a minute.
Sponsored by